This is The Beat, a conversation about the Charleston County Sheriff's Office and our community. I'm your host, Oshi Alford. Thanks again for tuning in to The Beat. This is Oshi. I'm your hostess. My conversation with Captain Ezra Luke from the Cannon Detention Center dragged on so long that we actually had to break it up into 2 separate episodes. And I don't mean dragged on in a bad way. I mean, we just had a lot to talk about. So the following is part 2 of my conversation with Captain Ezra Luke from the Sheriff's Cannon Detention Center. So what does your day-to-day look like in security?
Security encompasses 5 separate areas. Central control. Central control is the central nervous system for the facility. Opens all the doors, all the gates. They are the eyes in the sky to make sure that no resident escape. When arresting officers are coming in, they don't bring in their actual weapons and different things. Security also encompasses the lobby area. That is where all the contractors and the visitors enter the building, walk through a metal detector, they're scanned. We check their bags and different things for contraband, because obviously, especially now being that we went to digital mail, the resident used to be able to saturate papers with synthetic marijuana, K2, different things, and
the paper?
And smoke those things. So now, in order for that stuff to be introduced, it's either going to come in by contractors, or potentially staff, or some drones, because the rec yards have about 2-inch openings. So obviously, if something's small enough, drone could drop it and they could reach through and grab it.
That's creative.
Yep. So security is also responsible for the infirmary unit. That's where all the residents who are not clear for general population because of their medical conditions are housed. And then we also have a step-down unit from the medical unit. Let's say you have a cast on and it's going to be another 4 weeks. We don't need to take up a bed in medical. We'll put you in our B1A, Bravo 1 Alpha unit, and you'll stay there until that cast comes off. And then also our resident workers, any workers that you see, any resident you see that have on jeans and a green shirt, those are resident workers. They work in the laundry because with 1,000 residents, someone has to wash their clothes.
I would hope so.
And their mattress covers and their blankets and things of that nature. In the front lobby area, we have a section called Identification, Print, and Release. Let's say you want a concealed weapons permit. You need fingerprints to send SLED for a nominal fee. We'll take your prints and get you your print cards and things of that nature. Sex offenders who are required to register, we don't book them in the intake. They come to that same location to register and for us to take their prints and things of that nature.
I think I remember that office because I had to go in there to get my ID and all that put together for a year.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot to encapsulate in just one office, I guess.
Yeah. Security is, it's not the largest division, but it's a very important division.
So you were mentioning visitation. Now, aren't we doing just digital visitation now? What's going on with that?
Prior to the pandemic, family members could come to the lobby and sit in front of a monitor, and then their loved one would be on a monitor inside the unit, and they would interact. Once the pandemic hit, obviously because of COVID, we shut all of that down. And over the course of the last 3 years, staffing has really decreased. So we don't offer that type of visitation anymore. Everything is done either on your cell phone, laptop, etc. The only in-person visitation that occurs is for attorneys and clergy. The sheriff can authorize in certain situations where you would see your family member on the other side of the glass. And we only do that for special circumstances.
So when you say it's through your phone, what's that looking like? Is that like Skype on your app or what?
So our current communication vendor is Securus, and they have an app, and basically you sign up on their website. So the app can either be on your phone or your computer. You will schedule the visit with your family member. It'll send you an email and let you know that it's scheduled, and then and basically, let's say your visit is scheduled for 10 a.m. You're going to check in, and basically you just wait for that family member to show up. We have a process to where we will, in order when that account is set up, we're going to verify that your driver's license information, there's an address and things of that nature, are all correct. And then we authorize that contract. There's only a limited number of booths in the units, anywhere from 3 till 6. So if I'm in a unit with 64 residents, I'm not just going to be able to make a visit anytime that I want. And the attorney client visitation are going to take priority. So with 1,000 residents and court cases and different things, so it stays very busy. And that's why I was saying that one housing deputy, he or she, they're very busy.
I'd say so.
Especially on a day shift. Basically, visitation is going to start in the morning, in the AM hours, and they're going to run to about 10:20 that night.
Wow.
Yes, and there's a few time periods to where we don't allow visitation, like between like 11:30 and 1:30, because that's the time to where we have to get our staff their breaks. Unlike most of us, they just can't go to lunch when they want to. Someone has to come and relieve them, and so that's a process. So that process starts at 11 and ends at 2, and then it starts again on the night shift. And the visitation, basically for family members, that's going to be limited during some of those time. Now for attorneys, a little bit different. Attorney shows up, wants to see their client. They can still come to the lobby, and when staffing permits, obviously we'll bring that resident from their housing unit to the professional booths, and they'll be able to sit there with their client and talk to their client or have their client sign paperwork and different things.
So even though you have all these, staffing limitations, it's good to see and hear that you're still making those efforts to make sure that the residents still have those familial ties or those friendships that they can tap into, because I can imagine this is a particularly difficult time for them. Like, nobody wants to be in jail. I mean, I wouldn't. One
of the major changes is that we made last fall when we switched our communication contractors. So when Securus came in, all the residents are issued tablets. So whereas before a resident was standing at a phone bank, now they can make those same phone calls on their tablet. And there's educational programs on there, movies, they can watch movies, they can listen to music. And all those things. So that's that's been a great aid because then that takes some of the pressure off of the housing detention deputy, and they're not coming to the desks every few minutes asking for different things.
Right. Yes. They're able to utilize their own materials to do that.
Yes.
So what would you say for you is the most rewarding thing in your position? Like, what do you get the most out of in your job?
Well, so just like when I was in the Air Force, the one thing that each day that I went home, I knew that I was doing something significant for the country. And that's why in hindsight, even though I moved to Charleston to work at the Lexus dealership, I'm not sure if I would have gotten that same satisfaction. It's hard to describe, but I'll try and put it in words. But it takes a modern miracle every day for the detention center to pull everything off. And it takes everyone working together. Last night I was at work until 9 p.m. and then I was at work early this morning at 7. Everyone that's working is doing their best to serve the citizens of Charleston County, to the point to where, other than maybe some high-profile things that make the media, they have no idea what's going on. And most citizens are not even aware of our severe staffing crisis every day. I know that we have given our best, for the citizens of Charleston County.
So it's that call to service that pushes you to walk through those doors, and it's that same call that you get the reward from, knowing that you are helping those people, right?
Yes. When I was in the Air Force, I had a supervisor tell me once early in my career when there was, some very difficult jobs, and he said, well, someone has to do it. And, you've been chosen to do that. So, and that's what I strive to tell my people is that, hey, do your best.
So you said that your personal motto was think, act, and look your best.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic for everyone. I mean, I think we could all benefit from keeping that in mind. If you guys are interested in working for Charleston County Sheriff's Office, particularly in the detention center, go ahead and check out CCSO Jobs, and we'd be happy to have you. Thank you again for coming in and talking with me today.
Thank you.
This has been part 2 of Captain Ezard Luke's conversation about the Sheriff Cannon Detention Center. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time here at The Beat. This has been The Beat, a conversation about the Charleston County Sheriff's Office and our community. I'm your host, Oshi Alford. Look for future episodes by following the Charleston County Sheriff's Office on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.